Hey Facebook, my name is Greg. I'm Midtown Comics' marketing and events manager, and with me is...
John, the digital marketing manager for Midtown Comics.
And earlier this week, we were both fortunate enough to attend the world premiere of Suicide Squad right here in New York City. Since then, the embargo has lifted, and obviously there has been quite a lot of talk about the movie, about the quality of the film, and that's of course before many of you have even seen the movie. So what we're going to do now is we're going to spend some time talk about the film, and we are here to answer your questions. Obviously, we're going to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. We don't want to ruin anything for you, but seeing as there's been such a negative reaction to the movie from many critics, we want to explain why we had such a good time watching it, as well as why some of the other Midtown Comics employees enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
Currently, we have a video review on our YouTube channel. That's, I believe our page is just called Midtown Comics TV, where the video review is about 15 minutes. We're as spoiler-free as possible. We have a written review on our blog, which is simply blog.midtown.com. That's by Enrique Verona. It's a great review, no spoilers. He barely touches on the plot, actually. He's that safe with spoilers, but he talks about why he gave it 2 thumbs up. And we also have a few other Facebook Lives, our immediate reactions after seeing the movie, and yesterday we elaborated a little more on our thoughts. And right now, we just want to answer your questions, but before we get to that, gotta be a little shameless. We are a retailer after all. Our objective here is to make sure you enjoy Suicide Squad products. Whether or not you enjoy the movie, well, that's up to WB, but we are here to make sure there are plenty of Suicide Squad options for you. First and foremost, there was the free comic book day issue of Suicide Squad #1. We still have these available in our store. Because it's a free comic book day issue, it is of course free, but there's very limited quantities. So we have them available in the 3 shops. If you're coming out to the store just to get it, I recommend calling in advance to make sure we have one.
Yeah.
We have a very friendly staff. They'll, of course, hold it aside for you. So that's available. We also are collaborating with Alamo Drafthouse now, and people who already bought their tickets to see the movie over in Yonkers, they're all going to get this as well. Before we get into questions even more, I just want to remind everyone, every week, new comic books come out on Wednesday. DC has been doing DC Rebirth. It's been very, very good so far. And obviously, to coincide with the movie, Suicide Squad Rebirth #1 came out. This is by, oh man, my memory's fading me, Rob Williams, Philip Tan.
Right.
Philip Tan's the artist. As you can see, it gets right into things. And this issue, it's a great jumping on point, because it basically establishes the new team. It reintroduces Rick Flag to them. It focuses on Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Amanda Waller, Rick Flag, and it even has a bit of a dialogue between President Obama and Amanda Waller. No one messes with the wall, not even President Obama. Also available by Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, and I believe Chad Hardin is the artist's name. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Go me. Harley Quinn #1, also a great jumping on point. So they're making sure, if you are interested in these characters, DC has comics that are available for you, new comics that are available. But,
And then,
yes, if you want to go into the history of the team, we definitely have plenty of options for you. What I strongly recommend,
as do I,
the original run, volume #1. I believe DC is reprinting the entire run. They're currently up to volume 4. John Ostrander, Luke McConnell, Bob Lewis, Carl Kessel, David Hunt. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you watch the movie and you read this, you'll see one scene is
very, very similar.
definitely pulled from it. It's a very... This is where it all began. You gotta read... Technically, it's not where it all began. There's the Suicide Squadron from the Silver Age, but this is villains being awesome. And technically, this isn't where it began. It started in Legends, but come on, this is the classic run. You gotta read it. And then, if you're interested in seeing Harley Quinn on the team, the New 52 run. That's what you have to check out. As you can see, she's front and center there. Deadshot also plays a big role. This is also when El Diablo joins the team. Let me just take a second, see if I can find you some footage. There's a little bit of El Diablo. Things going not too well for him and Bel Rev. I don't want to spoil anything else, though. So, it appears we don't have any questions yet. Slightly embarrassing. Please bring it on.
Sup, Andy?
Yeah,
You're
Andy Bear Jones. All he said was sup. So,
What's up?
what's up with you? Hope you're doing well. So, the critical reception to the movie has been pretty negative.
Yeah.
People have complained about the structure of the film, a lackluster villain. These are critiques that I think are fair. I do recognize those problems with the film, and they were something that crossed my mind when we were watching it.
Yep.
But to me, I still enjoyed the movie a lot because the things it gets right are so much fun that it outweighs the things that I thought were wrong with the movie. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, listen, no movie is perfect, right? You're never going to get everything or please everybody. I do feel that, yeah, there was definitely room for improvement. But with what they got right, especially if you're a fan of the series, you're going to really enjoy it. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It wasn't anything, it wasn't dark and gloomy. It wasn't anything that was just like, oh God, I got to sit through 2 hours of this. It was fun. It was a summer action movie that you get to have, all these DC villains all in one screen. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it definitely went by very quickly for me. It is the shortest movie in the new DC universe, which includes Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Maybe David Ayer's original vision is longer. I'm not sure. But
Jared Leto it might be.
The Joker actor said he had some scenes cut. And just so everyone knows, don't go in expecting this to be a Joker movie. He is not the primary villain.
Right.
He doesn't have a substantial amount of screen time, but when he is on, he definitely has your focus. And it's a very different take on the character. So curious to see how fans will react. We do have a few questions so far. Javier says, is this the best DCU movie? Assuming you're talking about Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad. Yeah, and not taking into account previous DC films, but in this new established universe. John, is it your favorite so far out of those three?
Yes and no. No, honestly, because it does have a lot of action. It was really fun. It was lighthearted. I don't have a favorite in this new DC universe yet. I think the best is still yet to come.
Interesting. Now, when you say the best is still yet to come, do you mean Wonder Woman?
I'm talking Wonder Woman, I'm talking Justice League, I'm talking Batman, because now that we got a glimpse of Ben Affleck as Batman, we got a glimpse of Jared Leto as the Joker, I want to see the two of them on screen against each other.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's a tough question for me because I'm one of those people who really likes Man of Steel. I'm sorry if that made some of you just immediately stop watching or immediately dislike
the count
me.
Just went down. What are you doing?
All I'm saying is Superman would not approve of you disliking someone just because they like a different movie. I thought it was a very different approach to the character. I didn't mind that it wasn't dialogue heavy for Henry Cavill because he was so torn on his identity and he conveyed a lot of his emotions physically. I feel like Batman v Superman was a missed opportunity to follow up with Superman's arc. There was definitely room for improvement there. Hopefully they'll do great things with the character in Justice League. So I think Man of Steel, I have a very it holds a very special place in my heart. That sounds weird because I know so many people view it as like this gloomy and terrible movie, but I really enjoy it. Hans Zimmer, of course, plays a noticeable role in my enjoyment of that film. Brilliant soundtrack. But I think Suicide Squad was definitely the most entertaining film, if that makes sense.
No, you know what? I'll agree with that.
Yeah. I think it's the one where I think a lot of fans are going to enjoy this one. Man of Steel and Batman v Superman have been very polarizing to many fans, and as far as critical reception, obviously hasn't been the best around. It seems like that'll be the same case with Suicide Squad. However, with fans, I'm really thinking that the complaints that are popping so much in film reviews are things that many of the general audience will not mind as much.
Right.
I think it won't take away from their overall enjoyment. It will prevent them from maybe loving the movie or making it one of their favorites, but I think overall they'll still have a good time. At least I hope so. I sure did.
Yeah, so did I. Give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
And draw your own conclusion. Don't go by what everybody else is saying because these are critics. Given they're supposed to be professionals in their field and everything like that, but again, it's just their opinion. So go see it, draw your own opinion. We liked it, so why not?
Yeah, look, if you're interested in the movie, you should see it and judge it for yourself. If they're reviewers you respect, obviously take their opinions into consideration, but at the end of the day, you may respectfully disagree with them. We do have a few more questions.
Yay!
Eric Rodriguez, what are your thoughts on Katana? We didn't see that much of her, but what we did see, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
She had a few cool, slow-mo kills. There were a few nice character moments for her. Not many. I think there were maybe two. 3 at most.
3. Yeah.
Also, some humor you wouldn't expect. Like,
Very true.
I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, but yeah, it wasn't one of the standout characters, but left me wanting to see more of her, and that's how I felt about many of the characters actually in the film.
Absolutely. I think she truly a stark contrast from if you watch Arrow and you saw how the character was developed there. Huge difference. But it was still true to the character in the comics. As little that we saw of her, she was awesome. So hopefully we get to see more of her in the future. And yeah, I mean...
If she lives.
I didn't say that. You did.
Hopefully we get to see more of her in the future. We shall see. Okay, we have another question from Will. How was Leto? However you want to pronounce it.
Whatever.
I think it was interesting. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. We didn't get a lot of him, and again, people shouldn't expect a lot of him. It was a very different approach to the Joker. David Ayer and the costume designers, they pulled a lot of inspiration from the comics. People are obviously mixed on the tattoos, but that is inspired from All-Star Batman and Robin number 12. I don't remember, maybe number 8. I don't recall the issue. But he has a ginormous tattoo on his back, and the director and writer said he pulled inspiration by looking at Crime Lord's Instagram accounts, seeing so it's definitely different. But what matters is the performance. Because if you love the performance, having a little tattoo across his head may be slightly distracting, but not enough to really ruin it.
Right.
Again, I'm interested in this version of the Joker, but I don't believe we saw enough of him to really make bold claims like he's the best one yet, or he's the worst one, anything like that. We were talking the other day about how he's more subtle with his craziness, the fact that he's such a wild card, where he's very lethargic in his movements. He seems kind of spaced out, not all there, and that makes him a little more frightening because he's a guy who you make eye contact with and talk to, and you're like, I have no idea what he's thinking and what he's about to do, and that is scary. That's scary.
About that.
Yeah, and Joker should be scary. He's the kind of guy, no matter how he's dressed, if you're in a room with him, you want to be out of that room right away.
I think that, however, this is probably the first iteration that you could see going toe-to-toe with Batman. Jack Nicholson was a little bit older. I mean, so was Keaton at the time, but, there was that, like at the end when he turns on, you would hit a guy with glasses on. So it's not, Leto kind of has like a bit of a physicality to his Joker that looks like he would go hand-to-hand with him. He's crazy enough to do that with Ben's Batman, so I think that'll be pretty interesting to see. But, okay.
Yeah.
Not to say anything about, look, Heath Ledger was great as well, and I'm not putting him down at all. I'm just saying this iteration looks like he could actually probably go, or want to go toe-to-toe with Ben's Batman, so that's going to be interesting.
He could come up with some twisted ways to even the odds, because Ben Affleck's Batman, he's a beast.
Yeah.
That warehouse fight scene, no matter how you feel about Batman v Superman,
just keep watching.
There's just no denying that this version of Batman is frighteningly impressive when it comes to physical combat and his use of equipment and tactics. It was like straight out of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, Arkham Origins. Yeah, it was just, that would be great to see a really extended action sequence where the Joker has all these traps set up and Batman has to deal with them. And I think that would be awesome.
Running a gauntlet? Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
What else we got?
So Jennifer, how firm is the PG-13 rating?
That's for you.
Yeah, I don't recall the movie being gory at all, to be honest. I mean, obviously, people are killed. If people have explosive implants in their neck, I mean, you can't just say that and not show it off.
True.
But the way it's all handled, it's not graphic.
It's not gory, no.
No, I didn't think the film was gory at all. I'm trying to, because the enemies they fight, the cannon fodder enemies, you can dismember those things and it's not graphic. They're totally different texture.
Right.
It's like, clay breaking apart or something.
Yeah, there's no blood, there's no anything like that. When somebody gets shot, they fall. You don't see blood splatter or anything like that. So in that respect, I think PG-13 holds pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, there is some swearing. I mean, if you have really young kids, obviously keep that in mind. Obviously, everyone's parenting is going to vary, but there is, there are no F-bombs, but there are quite a few S-bombs, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe a P word dropped twice. So if anything, I think it earns the rating because of language, and there's of course violence, but it's never. I don't recall it ever being too graphic.
No, it's not graphic.
It never pushed the boundaries at all for me.
There's explosions. There's guns being fired. So that's probably where it comes from.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt again that all the enemies, a vast majority of the things that are getting killed are these creatures.
Well, that's true
that
too.
don't bleed; they just break apart. So yeah, it's don't go in expecting some like hardcore, almost R-rated movie. It's
not gonna happen.
It's not this bloody swear fest or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still good. If you want something a little more graphic, Batman Assault on Arkham.
Yep.
The animated movie definitely earned its PG-13 rating when it comes to graphic violence.
I think that one won. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a question from Lewis. Was it like the animated series? Well, that's a tough question because there's so many different incarnations.
Right.
There's Justice League United.
There's Assault on Arkham, like you just said.
Yeah, Assault on Arkham, Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure how to answer that.
Well, let's take it this way. How close was it to Assault on Arkham?
It's similar, especially the opening, the way it introduces characters. I think Assault on Arkham made better use of the Joker, and it sounds like perhaps David Ayer's vision also made great use of the Joker, but a lot of it was cut. Maybe it was cut for a reason.
Maybe
I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, Assault on Arkham, Joker felt more like he was the main bad guy in it, and obviously he was put to better use in there. But from what we saw, Joker was. I want to see more of him.
Me too.
Yeah. So let me scroll
Let's see
down.
what else.
As for the Harley Quinn and Joker dynamic, we saw less of it than I expected. There's some nice nods to the source material in there, especially if you like Alex Ross.
Oh yeah.
How would you describe their dynamic? I didn't really. I believe Jessica, who also saw the movie, she works here at Midtown Comics as well. She said it was a little romanticized as opposed to shown as more abusive.
Right.
And I think I agree with that. Obviously, trailers have revealed that initially Joker is obviously very cruel to her, with torturing her and everything, and that converts her eventually into becoming, instead of Harleen Quinzel, Harley Quinn.
Right.
And that's obviously all kinds of terrible, but when they're together, Joker feels, when Harley Quinn's away, he just wants her back. In the animated series,
he's very possessive. Yeah.
Yeah, in the animated series, that didn't really happen with Joker until he realized that Harley Quinn does so much for him.
Right.
He's like, why isn't this cleaned up, or why isn't this available? And the goons are like, well, boss, Harley Quinn does that.
Right.
So, but yeah, he was a little more love struck. I think I didn't really get. It seemed more, I guess, romanticized would be the right word.
Yeah.
So we're just going to scroll down here and look at a few more questions. What did you like or didn't like in the movie? That's from Chris Swiss. All right. What I liked: Deadshot,
Yep.
Harley Quinn,
Mm-hmm.
Killer Croc,
Yeah.
Katana. I want more Captain Boomerang. A lot more Captain Boomerang, which is so weird to say because Jai Courtney, no disrespect to the actor, but in his previous performances, the guy's never really won me over. And in this, he has the chance to just be this self-serving scumbag, and it left me really wanting to see more of the guy.
Well.
Yeah, I would love to see more of the
Such
guy.
a scumbag.
Slipknot's obvious MVP.
Oh yeah.
What else?
Rick Flag, dude.
Rick Flag was good. They humanized him a little bit. Obviously, they should,
Yeah.
because he's like the one level-headed dude who's supposed to be in there, surrounded by people who their morals aren't so great.
And don't forget the Wall.
Oh God, how could I forget her?
I don't
Amanda
know.
Waller. Yes, the true villain, always the true villain. Amanda Waller. She's for the greater good kind of deal. Viola Davis was awesome. What would you think?
She chews up the scenery, and she's a scene stealer. Every time
Absolutely.
she's on screen, you're not noticing who she's talking to, whether it be whoever. She steals it. She steals
Absolutely.
it because she is just stone cold, ruthless.
She's the wall.
Yeah.
She is the wall.
Oh boy.
Okay. So we have a question from Benjamin. Is it as bad as some of the reviews? Well, I mean, film's subjective. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you're going to agree with some of the reviews. A lot of it is based around how much you value certain things in a film.
Yeah.
for us, we think the character moments, the action, the sheer fun that it offered, that overshadows some of the common complaints that I'm seeing from people. Complaints which I agree with, I just don't value them as much compared to what I do like. Things like the structure. Things sometimes feel like they develop a little too quickly, so they don't have time to really sink in and resonate and make an impact. The big bad, I'm not all that interested in what's going on with that story.
Right.
It feels a little disconnected from the rest. Feels almost like you're watching a little bit of a different movie, and that's fine. I didn't mind. I didn't hate it, but it didn't win me over nearly as much as all the other stuff. Some of the fight choreography as well. There aren't as many standout moments there's a lot of action, but not a lot of really memorable jaw-dropping moments when it comes to the action. So
there were a few, but not when. There are some that truly categorize whatever character you're seeing as for, but when they're all together, you're right, there are no heavy moments when you just go, wow, that was awesome. There's nothing like that there, so I agree with you on that one. Yeah.
Okay.
What else we got?
But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it just as much as we did. I think we will see a pretty positive response from fans overall, because it's not, in my opinion, it's not a terrible film. I think it's entertaining. Henry Verona, the man who wrote the great review. Once again, if you're just tuning in, check that out on our blog, blog.midtowncomics.com. So he asks, who would you like to see added next time? For me, Black Spider. If they can get King Shark, that would be cool. But yeah, I would like to see Black Spider. Do you have any... Oh, Bronze Tiger as well. Come on, Bronze Tiger. Do you have anyone that you'd like to see as well? Or?
I would like to actually see Bronze Tiger. I thought that he was going to be in it. No, seriously, I thought he was going to be in it because there were rumors of a certain actor playing him in this film, or that may be playing him in this film. It's not entirely fleshed out if that was the character he was supposed to play or not. But I was intrigued when that was announced. So I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him added. I'd like to see more of that because he's going to bring a heavy martial arts background to it, and there's going to be a lot of good hand-to-hand combat.
Oh yeah.
That. So that's why I want to see him.
Yeah, and he's not a big part of the Suicide Squad's history, at all. I think he's only been in the new Suicide Squad run, and even then he was at odds with them. I would love to see Deathstroke go toe-to-toe with the Squad. I would love to see that. Just the mission where Suicide Squad is going after something. Deathstroke obviously has a different objective, and they clash over it. More questions from Henry.
Squad Part 2.
So we're just scrolling down here to get more questions. Would you join the Squad? Of course. No, Henry, I would not join the Squad. I do not want an explosive in my neck. I prefer my cell, which is my one-bedroom apartment, as opposed to the cells in Belrath.
He'd be their publicist.
Which one of you would fare better in Suicide Squad? John probably. John would be like, whatever you say, Amanda Waller. And I'd be stupid. I would be more like Captain Boomerang, being like, do we really have to do this? And then... All right, gonna scroll down, answer a few more questions from Davin. Clearly, this is a response to the very negative reviews of the film.
Wow.
I'll read it anyway.
Go for it.
Do you want to shower with sandpaper and bleach after watching it? I do anyway. That's just my regular routine. But Suicide Squad did not make me... I put on extra deodorant every day. No. Suicide Squad did not make me want to do that, man. It's not the most thought-provoking movie. It's not a great movie, but it's, in my opinion, an entertaining movie. I had a good time.
So did I. I mean, I'll still use soap. I'm not going to use sandpaper and bleach. But I thought it was fun. For what it is, I mean, it's perfect. It's fun. It's a summer movie. It's an entourage movie. Yeah. You get to see all these characters on screen at the same time. And you just go in having fun.
Yeah. We have a comment here from someone who's obviously one of Enrique's friends. Obviously. Isn't Henry just the coolest? Yeah, he's up there. He's up there.
He's alright.
I was going to say he's up there with Captain Cold, but... Oof.
No.
Okay, Benjamin. Maybe we will get more Joker in an extended cut version when it hits Blu-ray. I hope they do the BVS treatment where they give an Ultimate Edition, a Director's Cut. Because even in the trailer, there's footage that did not make it to the film. Mm-hmm. I know David Ayer has had nothing but love for WB, despite the rumors that have come out about troubled production, WB creating a different cut. But David Ayer has stayed behind the product that has been released. He's doing the opposite of what has happened with Fox and Fantastic Four. Josh Trank
True, yeah,
saying like, nope, there's a great version, but you may never see it.
Right.
Maybe one day. I hope so. I would love to see the extra scenes. Based on some of them that we saw in trailers, I would definitely like to see more of it, especially since it has more of the Joker. Definitely curious to see that. Would love to.
I'm down for a 3-hour movie.
So fingers crossed. Let's get a few more questions.
What are we doing in time?
It is currently 2 o'clock.
Cool.
We're going past when we promised we would, but more questions are coming in. We'll get to them super quick.
Yep.
So, Alexander, would you think any future Suicide Squad actors, by their performance, will be in future Batman movies? I definitely hope so.
Yeah.
I would love to see Deadshot, Joker, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc.
I think most of them, I would say, will probably be able to hold their own in a Batman movie.
If they survived.
Again, I'm not touching that.
I know.
Not touching that.
If a character survived, then yeah, I would love to see the dynamic with them and Batman. And who knows, maybe you see Batman interact with one or two of them in the movie.
I want to see him get with Killer Croc. That would be fun.
I would love that.
That would be so much
Yes,
fun.
that would be. Especially if they take a nod and Killer Croc tries to throw a big rock at him.
Yes.
I would. And maybe
Yes.
fans, yeah. Okay, we're going to get a few more questions. Mike, how would you describe the mid-credit scene? Exciting.
Yeah.
It's not some huge reveal. It's not going to like make you go, "Oh my god, that's Darkseid," or anything like that. But it's an exciting conversation.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of the universe and these characters, I think it'll have your full attention. It answers something that's a little obvious, that is like a light connection to Justice League, and then it also teases something that could be a future conflict or crossover.
Yeah. I think it was awesome. It was something that generally entices you to want to know what's going to happen in the DC universe, what's going to happen with this film universe, and it gives you a taste, and you just.
Okay, sorry, we had a bit of a connection issue there for a second. David, what is your rating 1 to 10? If we could give half points, I'd go with maybe 7.5. I had a good time. I recognize the things that I think hold the film back from being something I really love, but overall, I had fun. I had a good time, and it left me really wanting to see more and hoping there's a sequel. So 7.5 for me. John?
8.5 for me. We had this discussion actually earlier. We did the same thing. Feel the same way. I had a really good time with it. Yes, there were flaws, but as a comic book fan, I enjoyed it, and I want to see more. I definitely want to see more, because I think they just gave you enough of certain characters that entice you to want to continue with this.
So we have a question from Stacy. Did Katana feel out of place, since she is traditionally a Batman ally? Good question. For me, not really. She didn't feel like someone who belongs in the Suicide Squad. She felt like someone who's there to make sure that people who belong there are kept in line.
Yeah.
She came off as silent and deadly.
Definitely. Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, definitely silent and deadly.
Yeah. You could tell that there's good in her, and she's not messing around when it comes to these criminals. And yeah, I would like to see more of her. She's not very developed. She has a character moment or two in there, but she's definitely a supporting character. You see her a lot, but you don't get a lot from her, if that makes sense. So would definitely like to see more. From Mike, is Harley Quinn portrayed accurately? That's a tough question, because there's been so many incarnations.
Right.
She's developed so much over the years. I think there's inspiration that comes from several different versions. You can tell she's great at manipulating people. She's quirky. She feels like a wild card. I'm not sure quirky's the right word there. That just spewed out. It's probably not the right word. But she's
insane.
She's someone who could make you laugh and then frighten you the next second.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty accurate portrayal. She's not someone you want to mess with. Let's get 2 more questions. Michael, do you want to see it a second time? Was Jared Leto amazing? Yes, I want to see it a second time.
As do I.
Yeah, I've already planned to go with a group of friends on Saturday. We're going to see it in X Plus, which is in our theater. We have better audio and better visual and more comfortable seats, and I think the movie deserves that because it's a very fun movie. And also, the first time around, I missed some dialogue.
Yeah.
A lot of people were cheering. I couldn't hear some of the lines that I really wanted to hear, maybe from a cameo. So for that alone, I want to see it a second time. But yeah, it's a good time. I want to see how my friends feel about it as well. So I'm happy to pay for it and see it a second time. You?
Yeah, I'm definitely in for it. I already said when we walked out of the premiere, I was like, I'm going to go see this again.
Yeah.
Same reasons. I also missed parts of key dialogue that I really want to see again, and
Yeah.
I want to enjoy it in with a group of friends to see what they think about it, and not that it was more work related, but I want to see. I want to get more of the general audience, those guys who are fans of this, and see what they think.
Yeah.
They're
And
quite interesting.
not to disrespect critics, obviously many critics are, of course, fans of the comics and
True.
yada yada yada. But also, I've noticed that I've had to review movies before, and when you're doing that, it's a slightly different approach than going to a movie simply for fun, because you're really studying the film and you're trying to analyze it properly. And obviously, a lot of fans do that as well. But I understand why it's receiving bad reviews. I just don't think those critiques affected me nearly as much, because those are things I felt when watching the movie. But once again, I really enjoyed everything else, and that overshadowed, in my opinion, the good outweighed the bad. Let's see. Was Joker amazing? Once again, we didn't see enough of him to really determine. He's definitely attention grabbing, different. It's interesting. I want to see more before I say whether or not I love the character.
He leaves you wanting more, so that's
Definitely.
we'll leave it at that and see what happens when we see him again.
Mm-hmm. And here's our final question from Ezra: do you have to read the comics to understand the movie, or do you not have to? You don't have to.
You don't have to at all.
It's totally, I guess you could say, new viewer friendly.
Yeah.
Just like with Guardians of the Galaxy, you didn't have to read the comics to really enjoy that movie. In this case, it's a bunch of new characters that many people probably haven't heard of before the film, and it does an adequate job, I'd say, giving them proper introductions,
Yeah.
and then just going from there. So no, I don't think you have to see it. It takes place in the Man of Steel and Batman v Superman universe, so it's connected to those things. So watching those movies, of course, helps fully immerse you in that universe and properly get all the context. But
you don't have to see either one of those either to understand this.
yeah, there's even a little bit of footage from Batman v Superman, because
Yeah.
it takes place after that.
Right.
So yeah, they lay out the important stuff and the basics, and I think you could go in not having read a single comic. However, I recommend giving the comics a shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we gave some recommendations early on. Let me show them again real quick. Here's DC has been reprinting the original run. This is what you should get. Okay, and if you're interested in seeing Harley Quinn on the team, this is what you should get. And if you want to read something brand new,
That came out yesterday.
Yeah, 2 new comics came out this week. Harley Quinn #1 and Suicide Squad Rebirth #1. All of these options that I just showed you could serve as jumping on points. You don't need any prior experience to properly appreciate and love these stories. So give them a shot. I mean, enjoy the movie. Hopefully you enjoy the movie. But, there's a rich history with all these characters in the comics, and I really hope it motivates some of you out there to give the comics a shot as well. And also, watch Batman Assault on Arkham, the animated movie. I can't promote that enough. It's really, really fun, really entertaining. Does a great job balancing the Suicide Squad Joker and a little bit of Batman as well. So that's it for this Facebook Live video on Suicide Squad. We hope you enjoyed our spoiler-free Q&A about the film. We hope you enjoy the movie when you do get to see it. John, do you have any last comments about the movie or how people should feel about it?
So, formulate your own opinion, guys. Go out, see it, enjoy it, and formulate your own opinion. Don't worry about what's happening outside. Obviously, you can take what we said with a grain of salt because we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Are
I mean, I like Man of Steel. Who cares what I think, right?
He said that, not
Womp
me.
womp.
No, right? But yeah, just go and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you guys are fans of Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Joker, any of those all characters, if you're any remotely familiar with them, they are portrayed well in this film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'll really have fun.
Yeah, I had a good time watching it. I'm definitely